Just connect here, and I'm gonna go to the today's session, session number 3, and there are a lot more things, important parts we will be covering today. But let's see where we stopped here last time. Okay, so I'm gonna open a new query window and let's see what we have so far. So we were talking about the select statement, right? So select. You guys probably learned some basic syntax now. Hopefully, you guys have some idea. So select star from patient. We also use like order by, uh, maybe patient ID, ascending, descending, something like that. So we covered the order by clause. Now, if you want to filter out, let's say this one select star will return everything, right? If you have to filter out certain records, what is the clause you can use? Anybody remember?
Um,
Say it again, please.
So right now, select star will return all the records, but let's say I'm looking for a specific records. So what is the clause I can use in my queries in the select statement,
Where?
right? So that's where you use the where, and you supply maybe legal first name
No.
is equal Eric or something like that, right? So this one will return me only Eric's record. Order by allows you to sort the data. So it will sort based on the results. So if you have, so it will apply, sorting will apply on the result of the query. So it will be sorted whatever result you are getting from their standpoint. Now there are a few more things. So I think there are a couple of more. So there is a group by clause, and there is a having clause. Okay. So these are the two additional clause that we'll be covering today, and so forth. Okay. So hopefully you guys have the idea about the basic syntax now. So now we can look at a couple of advanced syntax clauses from the select statement. All right. So before we do that, let's understand one topic, because the group by goes along with the some built-in functions that the SQL provides. So built-in system functions. Okay. Just like any programming languages, we have some built-in functions that are out of the box. When you install SQL Server, these functions are available to you as part of your queries. Um, so what the functions are, kind of like it operate on collection of values. So any function that you can use. So you can specify on a particular column and so forth. But ultimately, the function will return a single value, okay, single value out of that. So what I mean by that, so here we are talking specifically about the aggregate functions. So imagine, let's say I'm gonna go to the different table here. Okay. By the way, now you can see all different tables structure that you have it available as part of your database. Um, the backup database restored all those different tables. But let me take a look at the patient bill table. Okay. To do is I'm just going to run a simple query, select star from patient bill. Okay. Okay. So here I have patient bill ID, visit date, bill amount, and paid columns. Now imagine, if you want to summarize the total billing that you have done on all the patient, how would you go about it, right? I mean, obviously you can manually calculate, add up all the records, um, but that's not the right way of doing things, right? Because you are using the SQL and you want the result within a second. So that's where some of the aggregate functions you can apply or use to calculate the total bill amount for all the patient. So imagine I'm putting the query here, patient ID, patient ID, and bill amount. Let's say I just pull only those two columns currently from there. So it gives me for every patient, I have what bill amount I have billed. So 1001 has two billing records here. 1001 has 85.5 and 190, those two. 1002 has 90, 40, 900, and so forth. But all we care is basically let's get the total for billing amount. So I don't really care about patient anymore. So let me just pull only the billing amount for now. So if I want to get the total for that, I can apply the aggregate function called sum. Okay. So what it will do, it will total up all the values from this column. You cannot apply aggregate on any varchar type of data. It works only with the numeric values, okay, integer or decimals or floats and so forth. The way you can apply the functions have typically this symbol, this syntax. So you name of the function, and then you have brackets, basically starting and ending bracket. Okay. So you supply the bill amount column name within that function. So what it will do is it will apply the function on this column and give us the total, what's basically is the sum of the values, and then it will return in the query. So if I run that, it will give me 1867.5, which is the total of all the bill amounts from that particular column. Okay. So that's the power of some aggregate function. So by definition, right, operates on a collection of values. Collection is the bill amount is a column and all the values within the bill amount. So it's a collection of values and returns a single value. So it will return us a total, which is 1867.5, depending on the function type and so forth. Um, so let's take a look at what are the functions available. Okay, so there are few functions. Good thing is there are few functions available. So we looked at the sum. So sum, what the sum says, returns the sum of all values or only by distinct values in the expression. Sum can be used on numeric columns only. Null values are ignored. Okay. So if anything null is there, then it will ignore it. But otherwise it will total up everything for that. Similarly, if I change sum to average here, so what it will do? So it will give me average billing amount for all of my records. So based on do you guys know what the average formula is? Does anybody recall? What is the formula for average? Average. How do you calculate average? Let's say you have 100. That's the first value. You have 200 and third 300. What would be my average here for these three records? So in order to calculate average in a mathematical world, right? So you will do sum 200 plus 300, and then you divide by 3, because 3 is a total number of values. Okay. If you have, let's say you have one more value called 400, so you have to divide it by 4, and then it will give you the average. Again, this is a mathematical formula if you are doing it by hand. Okay, this is how you would do it. Now, if you are doing in a query, you apply the same formula function, average function on the bill amount, and run the query, and it will tell you 143.653, whatever the average value is, for all the billing amount for that column. Okay, so what it will do is, let me just run patient bill here, right? So it will total up these values, it will sum it up and then divide by 13, because we have 13 records here. Okay, so that's the number we are getting, 143 and some change. Okay, for this one. So these are very helpful function, and especially for the reporting and so forth. you will utilize some of this function like min, max, average, sum, and so forth. So if I do min, let me change it to the min function. So what it's saying is give me the minimum billing amount from patient bill. So what is the lowest amount that we have charged to the patient? So it tells me it's a 40. But how do I know it's 40? So if I go here and run the query manually, and then I scan all the amounts. Yep, looks like 40 is the minimum amount. Okay, so that's what is picking up. The 40 is the minimum amount. Now, if I do max, what should I get now? Maximum billing amount, right? So
Yeah.
if I do max, I am expecting 900 to be shown in the result, and it will show me 900. Okay, so min, max, average, sum, and finally the count. So count is nothing but simple count how many bill amounts I have. So it should get you 13 because you have 13 records, right? So it will just give you 13 at that point. So that would be the count of all the billing amount. So it's not doing sum or it's not doing min, max, anything. It's just counting how many billing records I have. That's all. That's all this one does. Okay. So depending on the use case and so forth, you can apply these functions differently in your queries. Any question on this simple aggregate functions so far?
I'm good.
Okay. All right. So now we are talking about the group by and having by clause, right? Because that's what we are interested in the meaning in the queries. Okay. How do I go about group by and having by? So we have a select statement. We have from. Then we have where clause we saw, order, and now let's talk about the group by and having by, what those are, and so forth. Okay. Now group by and having by works in closely with these aggregate functions, and that's the reason I just showed you the aggregate function. Let me run a simple query here. So I'm going to run this query now. So, and let's put the order by patient ID ascending. Okay, so it will do ordering on the result. So the patient would be sorted, patient ID. Actually, I'm wanted to run for patient bill. Okay, so here, if you look at it, right? So I have patient 1001 has 2 records. Patient 1002 has couple. 1003, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 has 2 records. Now 1009 has 1 and 1010 has 1. Okay. Now, what if, so this count or this sum, let's change it to sum. This sum doesn't give me visibility of the breakdown by patient. It just gives me the total billing amount I charge. But what if I want to get the billing amount per patient? Then how would I go about it? Um, so billing amount per patient. So what I mean by that is if I went to get, if I'm running this query and I want to get the total of these two things for 1001, for 1002 I should get 130. For 1003 it will be 900, 1004, but I want to get the total per patient. I'm not interested in a big giant total. I want to get the total per patient. So that's where the group by clause comes handy. Okay, so group by in the select statement, you can start using it. Group by applies on the aggregate functions. Aggregate function meaning, so I have sum and I can say bill amount, right? This is the column. Let's say this is my query right now. Now, if I want to group by, patient per patient, right? So I can say group by, and what are you grouping on? So let's say patient ID, because patient ID, I want to be using this column to get my totals per patient, right? So this is what I'll do, apply group by clause on patient ID, and I'll add that here in my query, patient ID, okay? So my other part remains same, but I'm now applying group by. It will total up per patient and gives me the billing amount per patient. So if I run this query here, so now I'm getting the total 275 for 1001, 1002 as 130 because they have 90 and 40, two bills and so forth. So group by, when you apply group by, you have to use aggregate function in your queries. Okay, that's the first rule. If you have group by statement, you will end up using some type of aggregate function in your query, whether it's a sum, min, max, or count. Without that, it will start throwing you syntax error. So what I mean by that is, if I run this, let's see if it runs. Okay, so what it will throw me an error. It says billing amount is invalid because it does not contain either aggregate function or the group by clause. Okay, so it expects some type of aggregate function basically at this point. Okay, so group by and aggregate function group goes together, and you can apply the same thing. If you do average, it will give you average billing amount per patient at this point. So it will tell you what is average billing amount per patient. So here it will change to 65 for 1002 because it was 90 and 40. So it totaled up and then divided by 2 from that standpoint. Now, if you do min billing amount, right? So what it will do, we should see 40 for patient number 1002 because 40 is the lowest billing amount for the 1002 patient. Okay. Max, again, you will get the similar results, and count. It will just tell you the count, how many bills we generated for every patient. So here, 1001 has 2, 1002 has 2, because we know there are 2, and 1008 should have 2 bills at that point. Okay. Any question on this one? On the group by? Okay, so let me let's do one thing. There are 4 exercises here. I like you guys to complete that on page 25. Okay, and then I will move on to the um, don't do exercise number 5. Okay, we haven't talked about that yet, but we'll do that later on. Okay, so 1 to 6, but just ignore number 5. Any question?
No.
Okay. So make sure you read the description now. Kind of like here, what I mean by description is, it says find average bill amount for all patient. And so what we are doing is finding the average, as I showed you here. In the second one, we are using the combination of that. Okay. Because here you can use the group by. This is not using the group by, but it's just using the sum here. So let me talk about the number 2 here. So find total bill amount for all patient for the current year, or the year 2014. That's what you have, or from 2014. Just correcting that. Total bill amount for all patients after year 2014. So you can use the combination here. So here you have billing amount, but you only want to include the bill amount where bill date is greater than 2014. So let me run this here. So if I run this, right, it will give me 1867.5. Let me run a different query here. Select star from patient bill. Now, if I look at the records here, so I have some billing were done in 2013, somewhere in 2014, somewhere in 2011, and 2012. What if I want to get only total for all the bills that I generated in 2014 on and onwards? So that's where I am applying the where clause. So this one will give me everything, but when I apply the where clause, it will include the bills only after 2014. Okay, so it will I should get the sum for these 5 records, and you can manually total that up. It should be 90, 90, 90, 75, 270 plus 340 plus about 1300, something like that. Not more than that. Not 1875. So if I run that, I will get 1242 because it included only bills that were generated after 2014. Okay, so that's the difference. You can use a combination here. Where clause you can include with the sum and so forth. So that's what it tells you here in this particular query. Same thing. You will be able to see the max and min um, and so forth. So I like you guys to work through 1 to 6, but don't do number 5. We haven't talked about what those other syntaxes are. So just let's do that 1 to 6.
So this one we are not going to use the group by, right?
No, not in this one, but in the
Okay.
next exercise, you have a group by.
Okay.
So if you just want to do the group by one, I think it's only one. Just go ahead and do that as well. So 1 to 6 and this one, group by example, how you can apply the group by.
Okay.
But main part is understand the result. Okay.
All
I
right.
mean, you can follow the syntax, but what it's doing, right? That's the important part. So I'll get you guys 10 minutes, okay, to work through that.
Hey, Asha,
Yes.
should I change my setting from master to patient registration?
Yeah, you need to. Without that, you can't. So what it will do is all the queries it's executing in the master if you have that selected. So you make sure
Yes.
you change it to the patient registration. Um, yeah, without that you will get an error, table not found or something like that.
I'm still getting an error for the first one. I don't know.
What's the error? Can you read the error?
Incorrect syntax error near the
Yeah, so
key.
compare with the one. If you copied pasted it, right? The
Yeah.
quote, single quote, make sure you change it to the proper single quote if you are copy pasting it.
Okay, so the from, should I use the start for the from?
No, first one so you are working through find average bill amount for all
Yes.
patients, and you copied from there. Is that what
Mm-hmm.
you did?
Yeah.
Um, and if I run that, it should work. So
Hmm.
you must have copied some other thing.
No, I'm pretty
Well,
much also getting the same error too.
What's the error? I mean, you guys are getting
Um, Message 102, level 15, state 1, line 1, incorrect syntax near um bill amount in quotation marks.
quotation mark. One of you, can you go ahead and share your screen? I just stopped sharing mine.
Yeah, let me go ahead and screen two. Can you see it?
Not yet. I think it should takes maybe like 10 seconds.
Hmm.
Yep. Okay. I can see it.
Okay, so it
So
says,
bill amount. Um, select average bill amount from DBO dot patient bill. And you have patient registration also.
um,
Yeah, you have the table, right? I can see it.
mhm,
Can you expand the columns? And you have bill amount as well.
yep.
I'm just wondering why are you getting the error? Syntax looks fine.
Yep.
Incorrect syntax near bill amount. Hmm. Patient registration. Yeah, everything seems correct.
Yeah.
Are you able to run select star from patient bill? Can you run that SAS query directly? Yep.
Select star from patient bill.
Yeah. Yeah, you can select that. Yep.
And then run it. Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah, patient bill.
Yeah, it is there. So select average bill amount from,
So this right here.
uh, yeah, run that one again. I just want to see it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see, it worked. I'm not sure why, but your syntax seems fine.
Right. Oh, so in this case, will I say is because I did not select like whatever table I needed to use?
No, you have the table. Maybe in the first time when you ran it,
Mhm.
you did not selected that second line.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's the reason.
All
Yep.
right.
So you need to have both lines selected.
Selected.
Select average from dbo.patient bill in order to run it.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. You can stop sharing. So Bismarck, I think it should make sure you select both lines, not just one line. Yeah, if you just do select average bill amount, See, I'm getting the same error. So make sure you guys have select both lines selected. You guys are still working through, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. All right. How far you guys are?
Oh, I'm done.
You're done. Okay. Bismarck,
I was getting an error, so
which one you are getting error?
from the first one, I don't know if I should share my screen so you see I'm not doing something right.
Go ahead and share your screen.
Mm.
Okay. So what are you running?
This is the first one.
Okay. So select that one. Those two lines. Okay. It worked fine.
Oh, okay. So this is how it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah. This one is just a select star from patient bill, right? So it's
Okay.
just a simple query. There's nothing to do with the top query. Top query is separate.
Okay, so that is fine. So it's working fine now.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, and I'll stop
Okay,
sharing.
I'll get you a couple of minutes, okay, to see. Otherwise, we will come back and you can work through otherwise, okay? Because we have a
Okay.
lot of other queries we will be doing, and so forth.
Okay, then let me stop sharing. Then we'll go on.
Yeah. Yeah, if you are stuck on something, just go ahead and share, okay, at that point, or ask me, so that I can help you, okay?
Okay.
So I'll get you a couple of minutes, and then we'll cover one more small topic, and then I'll let you guys work through a couple of more and work through that. And then we'll dive into the completely different topic.
Okay.
Actually, let me go ahead and cover the other small topic, and then Bismarck, you can continue working where you left off. Okay.
All right.
That way, we can still move forward with something. Okay. So let me come back here on this one. So we looked at the select average, right? So this one gives a total. Now, if we do select average bill amount, and if I use a patient ID, right? If I want to total by patient per patient or find the amount on per patient, then what I can do is I can use this patient bill and do the group by clause, group by patient ID. So it will total all the amounts, all the records per patient by patient ID, and total the average or the sum or whatever we are trying to apply. Okay. So if I run these two queries side by side, so as you can see, first query will give you the big total, and second query will break down per patient. Okay, that's what we are doing. Now, there is a one more clause that you can apply. So look at the second query here. All right. Now, second query gives a per patient. So imagine if there are a million patients, then you're gonna get probably maybe 500,000 records back. Now you can do certain additional filtering on the totals. So what if I want to say, give me the patient whose total billing amount is greater than $100. So what I'm saying is I'm looking only for 110, 900, 130, and so forth. So can I use a where clause? So if I try to use where clause, where bill amount is greater than 100, will that work? What do you guys think? So I'm looking for total billing amount greater than 100 for in my this particular query. So if I run this, it will give me 190 and 900. Okay. Here, if I comment out and let me run this, just to show you the difference. What I'm looking for is, I should expect this patient, 900, 130, 275, and 110. I should have gotten 4 patients. But when I run this query, it gives me only 2 patients here. Why is that? So what happens is when you do group by, you can apply where clause, okay? But where clause is applied before the group by, okay? So there is order of precedence. There is certain order. The SQL statement is getting executed here. So it will first go about this one, filter, apply the filter, and then it will apply the group by on the when you have where clause and group by both in the query. So it will pick out only patient where the billing amount is greater than 100, and then it will total it up. And that's what is happening here. And it's giving us the incorrect result. Okay. All I was looking for is, so you can't use where clause to do what we are trying to do, which is this. I want to identify my query should return 1, 2, 3. This patient with a total billing amount greater than 100 plus 1008. The way you can apply, so once you have the group by, now I want to do the additional filtering, okay, on the sum. So that's where you can apply the having clause instead of the where clause. Having, and you can say sum bill amount greater than 100. So what it will do is it will do grouping, and then it will apply this having additional filtering on top of it, and it should get us 4 different patients here. Okay, so there is some order of precedence when you are using where, what's this group by, what's this having, and so forth, and mixing and matching. But this query will give us the result that we are looking for, and so forth. So having by clause, I mean, it's used mainly for the reporting purpose, the group by and having by. So you need to get familiar with it and play around a little bit and see how it works. Any question on the having? So I think this example here, find all patients with total billing amount greater than 50. It's kind of like similar to what we did here. So I'm trying to find total billing amount, which is sum of bill amount greater than 50. So it should give me pretty much everybody X here. So it gives me like total 10 patients in that case. If I run this without any totaling, let's see how many are. I still have total 10 because everybody has 55 and above. So if I do 60 and above, I shouldn't get last 2. I should get only 8 patients. So I'm getting only 8 patients now. Okay. Now, if you guys want, you guys can go and run the same query here and the second query for the major illness as well. Let's spend like maybe 5 minutes on these 2 queries and see if you guys understand the result that's coming out specifically for the second one. And then we can discuss if you have any question.
The select ID. We should do the select patient ID and the sum bill amount.
Yeah, first and second one both. On page 26 and 27.
Okay.
The best way you can analyze this thing, right? because it's mainly the analysis from your standpoint, is to what you can do is comment out the having by clause, right, first, and run this. So it tells you, okay, total per patient. Now your query, yeah, supposed to. So here, if I uncomment this line, so now I supply additional filtering here. But since 50 is greater than 50, right? So everybody is greater than 50. So let me change it to 60 here. So I should not get those last two records. That's how you wanna run this and understand these queries. Okay. So you can comment out using these two dots, two dash dash. It turns into green. It's a comment. So that line will not be executed when you run this query. Okay. So that's a very helpful command. Commenting out.
Well, Herschel, just a quick question.
Sure.
How often will we be using comments?
You will probably use it when you are running the queries like this. Um, so yeah, it's depending on. I mean, you'll use that. I mean, pretty much everywhere
Oh, okay.
in the real life. Yeah. Or let's say you want to put some comments around why you have 60 here,
Mhm.
right? So you can just say based on the requirement, whatever requirement of filtering, some explanation, right?
Okay.
Yep. So you will be using that commenting. There are two ways to comment. Okay. So one is I showed you dash dash, but if you want to comment out the whole this particular all the lines, then
Mhm.
it's tedious to go and do one by one, right?
Right.
So the way you can do it is you can just put slash star at the top and slash star slash at the end. So it will not execute this line.
Okay.
So it will comment out the code block.
Got it.
Okay.
All
There
right.
is one more way. I mean, there is a quicker way to comment is 5 lines or 3 lines is in the SQL, you have this commenting, comment out selected lines. So you can, so it will do commenting and
Oh,
then
okay.
uncomment the selected lines.
Gotcha. Good information. Thank you.
Sure. Is it working?
I'm getting error.
Okay, check the syntax. I think most likely it will be syntax error. And make sure you select all the lines when you are executing it.
It said syntax from. It said from. The keyword from. I don't know. I have a red line under the from.
So make sure the from, it's not form, it's a from. F-R-O-M. Okay.
Yeah, it's from, but still.
And you have the commas and everything.
Should I put comma?
No, so which one you are working? Compare with the syntax that you have in there. In your read line by line, see what mistake you made.
Okay, let me see.
If you are still getting it, then I can have you share your screen.
Okay, let me share my screen real quick.
Okay. Which line? Which one you are trying to execute?
This
So where is
one.
your select statement? I don't see your select statement.
Oh, okay, so I copied from this one. This one.
Yeah, but your first line is you're missing the first line, which is on page 26.
Oh, this one.
Yeah. Make sure you see it's always starts with the select. Okay, your query is here.
Okay, this one.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. So I can put it right
Now put
here.
it before from. Put it before from. You can't put it in different order. Okay, it follows the order.
Okay, I should put it here.
See,
Right.
you gotta copy the whole query. This is whole query. It start from select, so it follows the order for the statement. So you cannot say select comes after order by. That doesn't work that way. Okay, so it has to be in certain order for your statements.
So like this is right or not?
No, it's incorrect, right? Because your select doesn't come after order by.
Okay,
So it
hold on.
says select is at the top, then from, then group by, then having, then order by, right?
Okay, so I'll select from here.
Yeah.
And then this one.
Yeah, the problem is that you see that's where the copy paste. I mean, you wanna use it wisely, okay? When I say it's gonna copy other things as well, so which you can be so better to type it in certain things so that you
Okay.
understand what the syntax is for the queries.
So I'll type this and then this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
For now, let's just copy the top line, okay, and paste it. Paste it before from. Yep. So you already have it, I think.
Yeah.
So just select the statements, starting with the select to order by. Yep. Control Z. No. You have to change it again. Yep. Now make sure you select it properly now. Are you using mouse or no?
No.
Yeah, make sure you get a mouse, okay? Because that one
Okay.
will help you.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. Thank you.
All right. So let's move on. And Bismarck, if you haven't finished yet, make sure you mark it to do at home.
Okay.
Make sure you finish that up, okay?
All right.
Okay. So let's move on from here. I want to cover one small topic and then we'll dive into the actual important part, okay? Then we'll start today and hopefully finish up tomorrow. Okay, so there is a thing called aliases, right? So I mean, we all have some kind of aliases. Maybe maybe you might have some alias in your name. So your real name is this, but you can be called something else, right? So that's the alias. So the same way you can have the aliases for tables and column names. So what I mean by that is, so let's say if I come here, select star from major illness, okay? So if I do that, actually, let me select the columns, actual columns. Patient or illness type, and so forth, right? So let's say this is our simple query. Now, when you are typing it in, right? Sometimes, specifically when the table has, when we talk about the joins, right? That's where the aliases are very important. But let's talk it for now. So from major illness, right? I can call this table as M in my queries. So when I say as M in the definition, so when I put that this as M after major illness table name, I can refer to this table in anywhere in my query using M. Okay. So I can, as soon as I do that, this particular line specify the alias. This is called alias. So I'm using a short name for major illness because the typing can be really tedious for major illness. So I define one alias for M. Then I can say M dot major illness ID, M dot major illness type. So now I can refer this table as M throughout my query. The query will work same way. There is no difference when you specify the alias or have or does not have alias. Okay, your query, it will work same way. Both query will return exactly same results. The only difference is once I specify the shorter name for table, then I can refer that table as a short name everywhere in my query. And we will see that when we use the joins, because when you have multiple tables in a single query, and when you have and if you want to refer something, you will have to specify the aliases for that. Okay, so when you specify alias for the table, it's called table alias. Same thing. This one major illness ID, right? This is a column. I can specify a short name or specify a different name. Maybe just say ID. I can say as ID or kind of like that as ID. So now my query, watch what happens here. Okay. So if I do that, my query will return ID and illness type. So now the result will include ID instead of major illness ID. Okay. So that's where you can specify the aliases. This is how as type. I can simply say type. So now this column will be output as type in the query. So if I come here and now it will say type here. Okay. All right, so that's kind of like a one way, basically way of using the alias, and we'll see when we use the joins pretty shortly. We'll see the aliases. But let me give you the example of the what I was talking about the join. Since we don't know the join yet, let me just pull up these queries here. So let's see here. So let's understand what this query is doing. Okay. So I have one query, right? It says select patient ID, legal first name, legal last name, and city from patient. Then I'm using the join here. I know we haven't talked about the join yet, but this is how you can use the join. Now, when you have some common, and I can specify the aliases for the tables here. So patient, I'm calling it P, and patient address, when I join it, I'm calling it as PA. And when I use a join syntax, this one will pull the information from multiple tables currently. So I'm using the aliases currently. Now I can legal first name, I can say simply say first name, kind of like as last name. Okay. So now in the output, it will change it to first name and last name instead of legal first name and legal last name. So it's kind of like if you want to, you, you, you have somebody has a name basically like Bob and Robert and Bob, and those guys they call themselves Bill as well, right? Sometimes there are, so those are aliases, kind of like a short names you can use for tables and columns. That's all I wanted to show you. Okay. Any question here? If you don't understand the syntax here, which is perfectly fine because we haven't really talked about, but its aliases are mainly used for the joins, which we'll talk shortly. And the next topic is to cover the joins. But you guys get the general idea about the aliases.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So with that said, and we will do plenty of exercise later on for the alias. So I will not worry about that. But as I said, I mean here, you can specify for alias is something like this. This one does not use any joins here, right? Let me take a look at here. So here, I'm referring this table patient. So as, right? So I was showing you as, but as is optional. So you can say SP or space P, both will work fine. Same thing here, as is optional. So you can say something like this. The quotes are optional as well. So you can do something like this, which is fine as well, which will work as is. Okay. But just a clarity purpose, I like to put as sometimes SP. So you know, okay, this is alias, and so forth. If you want to do this small exercise, go and do that. This particular exercise, not the other one. Okay, not the join one, but just this particular one. This just to get familiar with the syntax. Let's give a couple of minutes, okay, on this one. And this is a very small one, but make sure you understand the syntax, what you are doing. And let me know when you are done. what the join is, and how we can leverage in the for our queries. Okay. Now, before I go into the join, so let's talk about the table structure and so forth that we have. So if you guys look at it, right? So we started with the patient registration creation portion. We had one table, patient table. This is the table. But then in the back, in our data model includes so many tables, right? Including the demographics table, insurance table, major illness notes, patient address, patient bill, patient insurance, policyholder. So these are the tables that we identified in the based on the database design exercise. Okay, so all these tables are created as part of the backup, basically, or the restore that we did earlier. Now, when you get a chance, you can, in order to get the familiar with the tables and the content, you need two things. First of all, you need to look at the model, data model, which is something like this here. Okay, let's pull up properly. Okay, so this is kind of like a data model that we have for the tables. So you have the patient table. This is same as what we had earlier. It's just the different view from the database itself I created. So it's a patient table. Then you have demographics table. You have patient address table, patient insurance table. You have insurance table, and then policy holder. So you can recognize the primary keys, right, which are marked as a key here, key symbol, which is a patient ID. Then the demographics also has a patient ID as a primary key. Patient address has a patient address ID. A patient insurance is more like a glue table between insurance and patient. So it has both are marked as a primary key, both insurance ID and patient ID. Insurance table has insurance ID and policyholder has policyholder ID. Okay, so those are the primary key, foreign key relationships we established um, when we created a database design earlier. Now, this is a relational database, right? So relational database says two different tables has a common column or common uh, columns where you can use to which are common across multiple tables, right? So kind of like a patient table as patient ID and demographics as patient ID. So these two tables I can make them as relational table because they both have common columns called patient ID. Same thing, patient and patient address. The common column is patient ID in both. So I can basically these tables are related. So I can identify in the patient address the patient ID as so I can identify all the address records for a particular patient based on the patient ID in the patient ID value in this patient address table. So what I mean by that is, let's say select star from patient. Okay, let's pick one patient. So we'll pick maybe 1001. Okay. Now, if I want to find out what are the addresses, what address this this belongs to this particular patient 1001. So what I can do is patient select star from patient address. Okay, and try to find it. Now, how do I find? Let's say if I want to pull up address for patient ID 1001, what should I use in the where clause? So where patient ID is equal 1001. This is what I query I can use to find out what address is belongs to this particular patient. So if I run that, I can say, okay, patient ID 1001 has this particular address belongs to that, and I can find out based on my simple query here. Okay, same thing, other tables. Let's say if I want to find out what is a demographic record for 1001, right? So I can run a simple query here, select star from patient, demographics, where patient ID is equal 1001. Okay. So if I run this query now, okay, so I can find out, okay, this patient has birth date, gender, marital status, and so forth. So as you can see, the tables are related based on the common columns or common keys. Okay. So here, the patient ID and patient ID, right? You can identify, find out the related record in the different tables based on the patient ID and so forth. So in order to do write any queries in future, you have to understand this model. Model meaning what are the common columns, how these tables are related, and you have to play around with the queries, something like this. What I did here, so that you understand the data structure and so forth. All right, so we are talking about joins now, right? So here, the joins, there are 4 different types of joins. Now, why do we use join, first of all? So right now I'm using the different queries, right? 1, 2, and 3. I wrote 3 separate queries to pull the information from these different tables. Okay, so patient table contains patient information. This one has address and demographics. Now, in a practical world, you probably want to write a single query to pull the information from whatever different tables, or you want to pull that information and return in a single query. So in order to do that, you have to use a join. Basically, you have to join these tables. So you have to join the patient table and patient address. So joins are nothing but like a logical so joins. So it will treat this query, it will treat it as like a one giant table. So it will combine the information from patient and patient address table, and then it will return the results from those 2 tables. So let me show you how we can go about it. So let's say I want to pull up the patient address information, which is address line 1, city, state, zip, and so forth, along with the patient information, which is first name, last name, and so forth. So let me write down here legal first name, legal last name, age, and then city, state, and zip. So this is the information I'm looking to retrieve from my query. Okay. So first you need to figure out the information is coming from the patient table and patient address table. Okay, those 2 different tables. So we have to create a basic query first. So I'll go and do that. Select legal first name, legal last name, age, city, state, and zip. So I'm pulling out all my fields here. Okay, I know I'm getting a lot of red lines as well here. Now, which table I'm pulling from? So let's say I'm pulling from patient table. So as soon as I do that, the red lines are gone for these 3 fields, because it identify, okay, this table, this information belongs to patient table. Now this information, we know that is coming from patient address table. So how do we go and pull the information from the address table? So that's where we come back here, and I'll refer to this diagram again. So here, patient and patient address table. What is the common columns here? What are the common columns?
Patient ID.
Patient ID, right? So the patient ID is common between that. So I can create a join on these 2 tables using the patient ID columns. So here I can say, now join follows the syntax. Okay, everything in the programming is you have to follow the syntax. So first we have specified from patient. Now I will say inner join, or let's start with a simple join, which is inner join, and I'll explain you the difference a little bit later. Inner join, patient address. So now this is the second table, what we are trying to join, second table where we are trying to pull the information from. Okay. inner join patient address, then you have to say on what column. Now you have to specify how you are joining these two tables. So you know you are joining patient address, but how you are joining. So you want to identify, provide an instruction to basically in your query to join on patient ID column. Okay. So here I can say on patient address dot patient ID is equal patient dot patient ID. So in my join condition, I am providing this these columns. Which column equals to what column type of thing. Okay. So this is the syntax for table joins. So if I run this query now, since I have joined this, so it created a logical big giant table in the memory. And now if I run it, it will pull the information, appropriate information from both tables here. Okay. So now I'm getting the city, state, zip from the patient address, age, legal first name, legal last name from the patient table. Okay. Now, any question here so far on this join condition, or that how do you go about joining two tables? Okay, let's take a look at one more. What if I want to pull up a birth date from the demographics table? So here, let's say I need to pull the birth date as well. So obviously you need the birth date column, right? You need the birth date column in the query. Now you join these two tables, okay? So that's the one join. You can have multiple table joins. So now what I can do is inner join. Now I can add a second join between these two tables, okay? Because this one ties to patient, right? Based on the diagram here, patient ID is common in both tables. So I can say patient, this one inner join, demographics on demographics. What is the common column? Demographics.patient ID is equal patient.patient ID. So patient.patient ID. Okay. You have to specify this condition. Okay. Without that, your query will not work if you don't have a join condition. It will not recognize this birth date column. So let's say I comment out this line, and if I try to run the query, as soon as I do that, I get a red line here, and it says invalid column name birth date. So you have to join the appropriate tables and so forth. So now I can pull the information from the third table in my single query. Okay. So the syntax of the join, let's understand one more time. So what we are saying is inner join, then you have table name, then you are specifying on, then table name dot column name, right, is equal the second table name dot column name.
So Asha, sorry to cut you.
Sure.
The column name is what they have in common in the.
That is correct. That is correct. That's the only way you can join.
Okay.
If you try to join patient ID with gender, right, you cannot join because it's not going to match anything,
Okay.
right? Because it doesn't make sense to create a join between gender and patient ID or legal first name and gender from the different table. There are no common values, basically.
Okay.
So if you know the common columns, patient ID, they both are columns. Again, same thing here, patient ID. So I can join on these two first, and then I can join on patient ID and insurance, insurance ID on the second way. So we will see that how that will work. But right now I'm showing you the simple type of things here.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's say in our query, we want to pull the information from the insurance as well. How do I go about it? In the same query. So I join all these three tables. Now what we are saying is let's pull the company name and the group number as well from the same query, in the same query. Okay. So how do I go about it? So in order to pull the information from insurance, Since you look at the patient and insurance, right? There is what is common here between patient and insurance table. Is there anything common? Any columns common
Sure. No.
between patient and insurance?
No, they don't have it.
You don't have anything common, right?
No.
Because
No.
the insurance ID is not there. But the way you can get it from patient to insurance is you join the patient to the patient insurance first, and then join patient insurance to the insurance table.
Oh, okay.
So you have to go through the hoops. Okay. So here, let me show you how it works join wise. Inner join patient insurance, right? First, we're gonna join these two tables, patient and patient insurance. On patient insurance dot patient ID, because I know there are two columns common here. Patient ID common is equal patient dot patient ID. So once I create a join, once I create these two join, then I can now go ahead and join these two tables because there is a common column called insurance ID in there. So now I can go and add one more join called insurance, inner join insurance on insurance dot insurance ID is equal patient insurance dot insurance ID. Okay. And now I can put company name here and I can pull up the company name, what insurance this particular patient has. Okay. So it's pulling up the company name at the same time. So now we created 5 table joins. Again, in the join condition, you have 2 tables. Join is between 2 tables, right? So this table, so in the join condition, when you say you are specifying what are you joining on? That's what it is. Okay. Does it make sense?
So the insurance is the same as the company name.
Yeah, insurance and insurance ID, right? Then this one we are pulling in the query. So company name is coming from the insurance table.
Okay.
And the group number. I can pull, once you join the table, then I can pull as much as I need from the tables. So I can pull the group name as well from the table. Okay. All right. Any question on the join condition, on the syntax?
No. No question for me.
All right. So give this diagram handy, okay? Because this one you can refer to see what table you want to join and for the information. So what I'm going to do is, let's take a look at here. So this diagram is also here, so it's good. Okay. So if I tell you find all patients who live in Columbus City, can you write a query on that? Or what do we need to do? First of all, you need to figure out what table to join. Okay, that's the first thing, where this information is coming from. And that's the first item. The second thing, join condition. What are you joining on? Okay, that's the important part. So if I look at find all patients who live in Columbus City, right? So where is the information is coming from? So let's say we always want to pull the legal first name and last name. Okay. So that's the first thing. So from patient table, you will always pull first name and last name in all the queries that you're going to write. Okay. And the second part is who live in Columbus City. So where is the Columbus City information? Can you tell me? How do you know where that information is?
The patient address.
Right. So you know it's a city is here, right? Patient address. Now, who live in Columbus City? How do you know who lives in Columbus City? So this is the filter criteria. or your where clause. Okay. How do you know it's a Columbus city? So you have to add a where clause in the query. Once you make a join, where city is equal Columbus. Does it make sense? So
Yeah.
table join, you create a join condition, right, in your query, and then you add a filter criteria, which says to identify what are filter criteria you have in this one. You guys want to give it a shot to this query? I'm going to leave this one here. Okay. This query here, you can use it as a baseline to create a join condition. Okay. But I want you to give it, now you have to really think through how are you going to add the where clause and what syntax and so forth. Okay. Because if you can see it here, we don't have any solutions. Okay. Now it's everything will be coming together, what you learned so far. So spend maybe like a 10 minutes on this one. Okay. This particular query. See if you guys come up with this query.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm going to leave this thing on. And if you are getting syntax errors, you'll be okay. All right. Spend 10 minutes, figure out the right syntax if you need to refer back or anything else. But I give you the syntax here for the certain joins. Okay. So you should be able to use it and work through that. All right. So give you 10 minutes. Okay. So 11:20.
All right.
All right.
Hey, Asha. Hey, Sam. Sam.
Okay. Any issues or anything? Have you guys tried?
I'm still working on it.
Okay. All right. First one and second one will take some time. Okay. I think once you figure out, or once we go through one or two,
Mhm.
then you guys will be okay.
All right.
But I want you to spend some time on this one. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Gotcha. So
Yeah.
yeah, here, right? So who has diabetes, right? We talked about that. Then the join condition here, what is that you're gonna join on? So obviously, what is the common between those two tables, which is patient ID. And third thing, what is your filter condition? So who has diabetes? How do you know? You are gonna check against illness type column.
All right.
Okay. So let's work through that query now. That would be your second query, and that one should take you a little bit less time. Okay, than the previous one. And you can copy paste it and change the way if you want, or just write a brand new query. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Now it's all about practice. Okay, when you talk about joins, it's all about practice. All right, we'll touch base in about 8 minutes.
All right.
So we are joining the two tables, the patient and the major illness.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
That's right.
All right.
Okay, so select legal first name, last name, illness type. So illness type from patient, inner join major illness on major illness. Okay. So table name, where is a major illness? I think your table, whatever the typo you have it. And first of all, diabetes is a value, right? So make sure you put it in the code. Okay, run the query again.
What am I done?
That's okay. Run the second query. Yep.
Okay, I'm this one from you.
Yeah. Now it says invalid column name major illness. So double click on there. I think your table name is incorrect.
Which one?
Major illness. Can you check the table name is correct? Invalid. Click on the error. Click on the error.
This one?
Yeah, double click there. See, it say where major illness is equal diabetes. Is that a major illness you are comparing?
Yeah.
Or what is the field you are checking for the value diabetes?
Is it not major illness?
Major illness is a table. It's not a field.
Illness type.
Yeah, so put the illness type then instead of major illness.
Okay.
Okay, run the query now. So why you didn't get any result? Your query ran fine. What is the spelling of diabetes?
Diabetes?
Yeah, it's
D-I-A-B-I-T-E-S.
D-I-A-B-E-T-E-S.
Yeah.
B-E-T-E-S. Check the value in the table. So what I want you to do is select star, run the query, select star from major illness that you have. Go up, go up, go up. Yep, run that query only.
Oh, only?
Yeah, only that query. Nope, select spelling correct. What is the spelling of diabetes? So copy from here and paste it in your value. Copy from the result.
Here?
Yeah, just copy, Control C.
Okay.
Yep, and paste it in the quotes. Whatever the value, replace it. No, replace.
Okay. Replace. Let's replace.
Paste. Replace means you have to get rid of the other value. See, your spelling is incorrect. That's why. So correct the spelling.
So this is right?
No, your spelling is incorrect. You are not getting the result. You should get 1 or 2 records. Okay, run the query now.
Okay.
Yep. So now you got the right result. Three patients, you got it.
Okay.
Okay. Samuel, how far you are?
Okay.
Pretty much almost the same issue, but it's just saying that the spelling of major illness is wrong.
So is the major illness ILLNESS?
Yep. ILLNESS. That's it.
Yeah, okay. So Samuel, go ahead and share your screen. Bismarck, you stop sharing.
So
Okay, so inner join major illness. Can you double click invalid column name?
this right here?
Yeah. See, what are you selecting? You need to select the column names, not the table.
Okay.
Major
So,
illness is a table. So what is the column?
oh,
So
the
select the
column.
illness type. Yeah, illness type column from the, yeah. Yep, you can select it. See, it popped up. Yeah.
Okay. That should be good.
Yeah, there is no error. So yep,
Oh,
there you go.
okay. So pretty much instead of doing the table, we do columns here
Yeah,
instead.
yeah. The select will only includes columns, no tables.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Got
So I
it.
think you guys are getting there. Not there yet. So
Mhm.
let's see. All right. So that's why we have more exercises, right?
Right.
Okay. So find all patients who are married. Okay. So that's the query. So tell me the tables. Which table? What's the joint condition and what's the filter criteria?
The table.
So where is the information about married?
The demographics,
Demographics.
Right. So what's the field?
The field.
marital status.
Marital status, right?
Yep.
So you're gonna include marital status, legal first name and last name in the query. Okay, that should be your output. And
Okay.
then you need to join it. Now, hopefully now you guys know getting hang to the syntax now, how you can create a join and put a where condition, third one. That's it. Should be straightforward, this query. Let's get it done.
Okay.
Oh. Okay, so Ashal,
Yeah.
mine run correctly, but it didn't add the names of it.
Names.
No, like you said.
So you need to have legal first name, legal last name, and marital status in your
Yes.
query output.
Yeah, that's what I did. And then I wrote inner join
Uh-huh.
demographics on demographics dot patient ID
Uh-huh.
is equal to patient ID,
Okay.
where marital status is equal to married.
Yeah, so run a query from the demographics table, okay, and see what values are marital that tells you the married or unmarried or single. So the value is not correct, whatever. So it doesn't return you anything, right?
No, they said it's syntax zero. Okay.
Syntax error or it's empty table.
I run from the inner join demographics on demographics.
Yeah,
That's the only
so
time.
double click the error first, okay? It will take you to the line where the error is, and tell me
Yes.
what that line is.
It's where I wrote the inner join demographics on demographics dot
So do you have
patient
like
ID.
extra comma or anything anywhere?
No demographics.
Okay, go ahead and stop your share your screen.
Okay.
marital status. Okay, from patient inner join demographics on demographics dot patient ID is equal patient. Run your query.
Yeah, this is what I got.
Yeah, it's empty result. There is no error.
Oh, this is not error. Okay.
Yeah, it's not an error. Now, why are you getting empty result? Your join condition is not correct. I can tell you that. So
Okay.
find out what values is stored for the married in the demographics table. So your value, whatever you have specified, is not matching, right? It's kind of like a diabetes. You are misspelling. So there might be something else they are storing in the column values.
Okay.
See what values they are storing. Is there a married there?
They said, oh, MSS.
Yeah. So now you have to put the value, correct value, in your where clause. So instead of married, they are storing M.
Okay, so like here I'll put only M.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so you get what you have in the system.
Yep, that's correct. That's exactly how it is. So somebody gives you requirement, you are translating the requirement to so that system can understand.
Okay.
And you get the results back. See, now you are getting marital status three records. Okay.
Oh, okay. I think that's why I wasn't getting it right.
Yep.
Okay, I'll stop sharing now. Thank you.
What about you, Samuel?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the here. Let me just share the screen so you take
Okay.
a look at it, because
Sure.
all right, so it's like I'm in a jam right
Sure.
here.
Yep.
It says incorrect syntax near inner.
So double click on that. Double click. Yeah. So select legal first name, last name, marital status. Oh, where is your from? You need a from clause, right? From patient. Then you can have inner join.
Oh,
So you're missing the from.
gotcha.
So you're joining patient table when you say inner join, right? So you have to have previously from specified.
Okay.
So it will try to join with that table.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Okay. Let me share my screen again. All right. Moving on to the find number 6. Let's see what you guys can do with this.
Number 6. Find
Yep. Find all patient who has Anthem's insurance. So let's talk about it for a second. What tables? First of all, table to join.
Anthem's insurance.
Yeah. Find all patient who has Anthem insurance. So what does it mean? And what tables you need to join here?
Insurance and patient insurance
Okay.
tables.
Well, patient insurance can you get the Anthem insurance from the patient insurance?
I think.
Or you have to go further? Where is the Anthem insurance information stored?
I think it's in the company's name.
Which company name, right?
Yeah,
in
insurance.
the insurance table.
Yeah.
So you have to get to the insurance table. So how do you get to the insurance table? Remember, I showed you earlier, right? You can't really join insurance and patient directly. So you have to go to patient insurance and patient insurance to insurance.
Okay.
Gotcha. And you will return the company name, legal first name and last name in the query.
Okay. So you're going to join the patient and the patient insurance and the insurance.
Yeah. So how do you go about it? So your join is between two tables, right? Patient to patient insurance. That's first join. Second join would be patient insurance to insurance, because you need to join the both tables. Remember here, so this would be your join here. This is your join. So your patient to patient insurance first, using the patient insurance dot patient ID equals patient dot patient ID. And then another join insurance on insurance dot insurance ID is equal patient insurance dot insurance ID.
Okay, so this will be the query.
Well, I gave you kind of like a more than what I needed, what I wanted to give you, but you still have a where clause here to create.
Okay, where
So I'd like you to go and create, write a query. Okay, appropriate query, so that you understand what is that. But I gave you a hint here. Okay, think it as a hint, not exact syntax, but hint. I'm gonna flip it.
all right.
Hopefully now you can create it.
Let's see. Here it goes.
All right, anybody getting closer?
Yes. Okay, let me share my screen. I think I'm almost there.
Take a time and finish it up, okay? If
Okay.
you're almost there, then let's wait for a minute or two.
Okay. So, let me share my screen real quick.
Okay.
I don't know if I did it right.
All right. So select legal name, company name, group number from patient, inner joint patient insurance on patient insurance dot patient ID is equal patient dot patient ID. So that condition is correct. Inner joint insurance on insurance dot insurance ID is equal patient insurance dot insurance ID. So that is correct. Where insurance is equal anthem. Now, oh, insurance is equal anthem. Is that the field you are applying where condition to? What is the field?
The field?
Yeah.
Okay,
Field
so should I
supposed to
put
be
on?
company name, right?
Yeah.
So in the where clause, you have a wrong field. Is it insurance? Insurance is a table.
So
So
what
you
do I put
can't,
here?
well, you tell me what you need to put. So you can't compare the table equals in anthem. That's not the way. You always have a field. So which field contains value of anthem? Tell me.
Company name.
Then put the company name there, right?
Okay, okay. Oh,
So it's always the fields. You wanna check the values or pull up the values from.
Sorry to cut in real quick. Herschel, please, I do have a little emergency I have to attend to. Is it
Sure.
okay if I go ahead and leave the class?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
All right.
We are almost there, I think. So we might wrap up
Okay.
basically, and I'll let you guys work through maybe up to a couple of more from home.
All right.
See if you guys can work through. Okay, so
Awesome.
give me a second.
All right.
So I think number 6, 7, and 8. How about
Yep.
those two? You guys give it a try
All
from
right.
yeah.
home, and we'll start back up at number 9.
Awesome. Thank you.
And if you have issue, then we'll work through tomorrow. This 7 and 8.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, then I'll see you tomorrow then.
All right. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so what time tomorrow? Is it the same time or in the morning?
Yes, Samuel.
Yeah, I'll do the morning.
Morning
I'll do the
fine.
morning. Yeah, the morning will be fine.
Okay.
And then next week we'll probably just do 11. That should be
Next
fine as
Sunday,
well.
right? Sunday. I mean, we might wrap up on Saturday. So, yep.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So,
Awesome.
yep. Okay. So tomorrow we'll meet at 8:55 a.m. Okay.
Awesome.
Same
Thank
timing.
you.
All right.
Okay, so Asha, I think I'm supposed to do it, right?
Yes. So this is good. This one is fine. I think your query is working okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So now number 7 and 8. So give it a shot from home. Okay. And
Okay.
we'll regroup tomorrow morning then at 9 o'clock.
All right, sir.
8:55. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okie dokie then. We will wrap up then. Yep. Later.
All right. Okay. See you tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.